This guy just doesn't shut up. Oh, I know. I've had to put up with myself the entire last 4 or 5 days. It's been so frustrating. Usually I get all my talking dust out to you guys. When I don't stream for 4 days, I have to talk to myself. It's dreadful. Alright guys, look at all these bits coming in. I'll get to you guys in a moment, but let's go and introduce some players. And our first matchup of the day is going to be this PvZ. To the top left-hand side, this is on faster, right? Okay, it's just been a few days since I've watched StarCraft, and it feels like the probes are moving really slow. To the top left-hand side, our red Protoss player, this, my friends, is Neeb. And he is going up against the blue Zerg in the bottom right-hand side of the map. This, of course, is Team Expert Scarlett. So, I pulled first some Scarlett here on Abiogenesis to get us started in this series. No gas just yet. May very well just be one of those things where getting a few extra lings out early can offset the disadvantage you come up against on Abiogenesis, which is the very fast adept that can come down the map because of the closeness of the bases. So, we'll see what this leads into here as we're going to have this probe and drone continue to dance around for the moment or two, and that will continue on along, and because this is being blocked, we will see an extractor coming down before the hatchery. I guess you may as well if you've got the minerals just sat there. And there we do. The hatchery comes on down and it is placed on the natural. So again, Abiogenesis, I mean, it's for things like this, you know, the double gateway opener. This is going to hit hard, it's going to hit fast, and it's going to do some real damage here, Neeb. So, you know, with 2 adepts coming out this quick, a faster set of lings, the faster queen, it can go a long way. It's possible that he sort of decided, okay, pool first, maybe I will go an extra game myself for defense. That is something to potentially keep in mind as well. I want to quickly just say thank you to a few cheers coming in already to start the stream off. Nervoff came in with the boop on the 1 to really start the stream off. How you doing, Nervoff? Thank you for the cheer 1. And also Sorake coming in. Sarik? Sorry, I'm just messing up your name. Came in with the cheer 50. Thank you so much. And Halafor with the cheer 55 saying, I'm number one, mine, chow. Oh, mine, main, chow main. I don't know what's going on. Thank you so much for the bits though, guys. So you do see the first lings turned away by the wall-off, and just, you know, the later Nexus. I mean, already Scarlett's done damage with this though, delays the Nexus massively. I mean, there's the argument. Does it do damage, or does it just play into Neeb's hands? Because, you know, at the same time, we've got, you know, Neeb, he's like, okay, well, you've got less drones because you made lings anyways, and I'm going to make sure you make, you know, have to make use of those and maybe even make more. You know, you haven't had the strongest of economies, and, you know, usually maybe you get a strong economy, then you make 10 lings to deal with these adepts. Now you're kind of dealing with these adepts with 6 lings, and then a couple drones, and then a couple more lings. It's a bit of a weird scenario. It really isn't one we see a lot, the kind of the 2-gate opener against the pool first, so it is a bit interesting, as we are going to be seeing those couple of adepts pulling back. And we have got the lings, are looking to try and maybe get us around here, but the adepts find possibly the best position they can. They get 1 kill there, I believe, maybe 2. And, well, now the lings will just sit and fight this. And these adepts have no intention of shading out. They were just trading so well in that little corner. Obviously, the queens help a lot for Scarlett. But, in general, Neeb was so happy to fight there. Just pick away as many lings as possible as Scarlett starts up 10 more Zerglings. So it looks so Scarlett's going to get aggressive here. Bring some Zerglings out towards the front and getting ready to go, as we do have a couple more adepts just moving forwards. So they're just going to be coming in towards the natural and looking for a bit more damage. Exact same position. He doesn't commit to it though. Those lings come forward. So that's a surround on those adepts. And now Neeb is going to be losing some of his first units in this game. I mean, having lost his first 2 and now losing 2 more, this really means that he doesn't have a lot at home. 2 adepts and a zealot. Lings alone might not do this, but if the queens come across the map, obviously they can start to attack at the front. And Neeb is realizing that this is going to be quite the aggressive play from Scarlett. As we're going to have these 2 adepts. Well, there's not really enough lings for Scarlett to just throw out this gateway to take it down. So I think she's going to have to back off for a moment and at least wait for the queen so she has everything possible. But man, I mean, she's going to be trying to build, you know, break down what? A triple shield battery wall-off? That's not going to be easy. There's even a sentry here now as well to block the entrance. Stalker's on the wrong side of the wall-off though. That's a little bit of a shame. Although it's still, I guess actually in a way, protects this gateway more. It's actually not that bad a thing, surprisingly enough. 2 more sentries warp in with warp gate finish, and I just don't see what Scarlett does here. Can these queens really provide enough damage to break through this front door? I'm not sure they can. Stalker starts to warp on in. Let's see what's going to happen. That's going to be starting to work their way through this. We're going to see the Stalker will be saved right now by the shield battery. First force field comes down, traps some lings in, maybe to stop further lings from getting towards the Stalker. These queens are doing what they can. They have transfusions to use on each other, but I mean, Scarlett has to take down one of these buildings in the front and then still make it through after the force fields have worn off, and I just don't think there's enough units there to really do that here. Cybercore still taking damage. The Stalker at the front is just tanking hits, by the way. It's been here for so long. Finally goes down as the shield batteries run out of energy. So will the Cybercore. Neeb will rebuild that instantly, but he's already started up a robo. He isn't really afraid of this. And even if these queens get rid of this gateway now, there's a force field to stop the Lings from getting in en masse. And this is still so controllable for Neeb as the queens. But now they're running out of energy as well. A few Lings start to come through. Sentries starting to take some damage. That'll stop once the Zealots actually get to the front. I think just in general, all you need is an Immortal and boom, those queens aren't going to do anything at all. And then you really are in trouble. Turning around again, a couple more shots on the Zealot, but doesn't quite really find what he needs. And while this Immortal just current boost now, it looks as though Scarlett started to back away just a little bit here, but what a hold this was by Neeb. Identified something aggressive was coming his way, got himself in that position where he could play around with the shield batteries coming up in plenty of time, and once those shield batteries are up, boom, you have the answer. That Stalker held on for how long? Like minutes. It really felt like that one Stalker in the front just sat here, just like, you know, put his two front legs behind his head, like, come attack me. He didn't get any kills at all, eventually went down, but man, it tanked for so long there. As you're going to be seeing Neeb, well, I mean, you just look at this army, he's got Zealots, the Immortal is so good against the Queens as well. These Queens can't get home either, by the way, because they don't have Creep or anything. There's no Dropper Lords in this. So these Queens, yes, they can transfuse for a bit longer, but as soon as these Lings come in, the Zealots move forwards, then the Lings don't do anything, and then you really just have slow Queens with a couple transfuses against nothing of goal. You can see it, Scarlett doesn't want to fight with the Lings because she knows she's just going to lose them. I don't know what she's trying to do. I think by time for Roaches, she just got a Roach rolling up, which may just be like the continuation of this all-in. But at this point, it looks like Neeb might just be ready to keep on fighting. Anyways, the Zealots will kite back against the Lings just a little bit. Stay in range of that Guardian Shield to tank a few more of the Queen shots, and Scarlett realizes there's no way she wins this fight. GG. Neeb takes game one of the best of 3. GG is on Catalyst, as we do have to the top left-hand side. Our Red Protoss player, this, my friends, is Neeb, taking game one with the defense there against Scarlett to get things rolling. To the bottom right, our Blue Zerg player, this, from Team Expert, is Scarlett, and we'll see what she comes up with in game two, after aggression didn't really work out in game number 1. Now you guys might be thinking, why on earth did Scarlett, Neeb, and all these other guys fly over to China for like a quick weekend tournament? Like, what was going on there? There's just a casual, $36,000 prize pool up for grabs. Pretty crazy. And you know what else is pretty crazy? This is not something we see every day, because Neeb is throwing down a Forge. Neeb is opening with the Cannon Rush. This is not something we see ever from Neeb. I mean, Neeb's a bit cheeky sometimes, especially if he's maybe, say he's playing like WCS NA qualifiers. Sometimes he's a little bit of a memester as well. He'll play that little bit of a tricky build, or, he'll, in the early rounds have some fun because he knows he's just that strong compared to his opponents. But against Scarlett, this is not something I'm expecting. Scarlett sees it pretty quickly here. Hatch, Gas, and Pool coming up. There's a couple of Photon Cannons are going to be coming in next to this pylon. So cannons coming through. And they are going to get ready to start working their way through that hatchery, which Scarlett just straight up cancels. We'll probably put down over here instead, in which case it kind of forces the investment from Neeb, which then really doesn't do a lot. And right now, this is, 400 minerals, which have done, force a cancel, delayed the hatchery. Is that enough? Takes the second gas, by the way, Neeb. Stealing this here means that Scarlett can only have one gas on mine, and that really limits responses such as Nidus network attacks and fast lair plays in general, even Roach play, which, Ravages involved. You can go on double gas very early for that sort of stuff nowadays. So all of this is denied by the fact that Neeb does take the Assimilator in Scarlett's main. So I like that. It's cute. It's, sort of like, he just sort of guarantees himself a decent spot as, whoa, Scarlett throws down a hatchery up to the top side of the map, and she's a bit like, well then, Neeb, you want to play some fun and games? Let's play some fun and games. Here's my hatchery, my third hatchery. You want to wonder if I take a third hatchery? Well, there you go, I do take a third hatchery right in front of your base. What are you going to do about that? And Neeb's a bit like, well, I guess I'm going to nibble it with this probe and make sure you don't cancel it, and I guess I'm going to get a Zealot out and just try and shut this down. So Scarlett, with the Roach Roll coming up, is quite obviously, with Link Speed 2, really is aiming towards a very, I guess, you make Roaches on this hatchery, and then with leftover minerals, which she'll have a lot of, considering she only has one gas. With the leftover minerals, you make Lings on these hatcheries, and then you can stream them across the map quickly with the Ling Speed. Unless she cancels Ling Speed, and that's just a fake because Neeb can see it, that's a possibility too. You know, if she cancels link speed at some point, then it could look as though, you know, she can get more roaches in production, and it may look as though this is just going to be a link flood, which can sometimes kind of force a different defensive Neeb, you know, a different setup of units, a different setup of building structures, that sort of stuff. So we'll see how successful Scarlett will be. At first, Ravager morphing, and you can just see how gas expensive they are. I mean, I guess she needs the roaches and Ravagers to break out the cannons. That's something I wasn't really considering, because it didn't really feel like an immediate... You know, something that was immediately needed, and as she drones up, it looks as though she's just going to continue on very regularly, actually. So Scarlett, I mean, she makes a few more drones, she kills the cannons, I mean, you kill the pylon as well, and then what? You just don't attack? You just sit back? You just chill out? What was the... I mean, she starts up another couple of roaches in this hatchery, okay. So she is going to attack then. Because now she can reinforce with ling speed and lings, and these roaches are going to pop out over here so they don't have to walk across the map, which is actually worthwhile. She has one more lava here as well. So while it wasn't an amazing proxy hatch, she is getting some use out of it, and she is going to commit. Scarlett trying her best to play Protoss right now while playing Zerg with the essentially kind of like a warping of units. And so just going to be seeing the... well, Ravager morphing in and more roaches coming across, and well, here we go. I mean, was it worth it? I'm not sure if it really was, but I guess we'll see right now. This is where our questions get answered. Roaches and Ravagers at the front, already going to get rid of one pylon. Oh my god, that Immortal comes out just in time. Corrosive Bowels will get rid of the pylon still. Neeb needs to build another, and he's building two, knowing the importance of that there. And he also builds one to start repowering the Robo. Oh, Stalker wanders into Corrosive Bowel range there. That wasn't pretty. Few more Corrosive Bowels potentially to be used in the next few moments. And they're going to drop down right there on that pylon. And as they move on forwards, we are going to be seeing these units just keeping on going. And, well, again, these probes just going to be coming in for a little bit of a fight right now. A few more lings moving forwards. Again, more probes continue to drop, and so far, decent damage, I'd say. Here come the lings streaming in. Because Scarlett controls the front, the lings will stream in and reinforce very easily time and time again. And that's why this gets troubling. Next Immortal's about to pop out, but the first one's going to go down. And Immortals against Lings and Ravagers are not the best of units. The DPS output here is not quite enough to get rid of it due to the shield battery. Gets rid of one though, and there's the few extra Zerglings making the difference right now. Those Ravagers have just lasted so long, and now the shield battery is out of energy, so the Immortal won't be healed back up. And without the Immortal heal, I think this might just be over, because, well, you lose power to the gateway, you lose power to the Robo, and Scarlett will grab herself game number 2 to tie this series up 1-1 in the best of 3. Well, that's because I can't sing, so what can I say? Bum bum ay, oh, I can't sing, you know. Alright guys, let's do this to the bottom right hand side. Our red pros player. This is Neeb. Whoa. I wonder if you'll try and cannon rush once again as we get set up into this. To the top left, our blue Zerg player is of course Scarlett. And the final game of this best of 3 series from the group stages, from Group A in particular. So yeah, we'll cast the Group A matches that we're going to focus on first, as I was saying. Then we'll cast the Group B game that we're going to cast, and then just move through the tournament in a very, you know, well-ordered and logical sort of manner, believe it or not. So yeah, let's see what happens. Fun PvZ to get us started. And, yeah, just games, StarCraft 2. How about that, eh? What did everyone else do this weekend? What did you guys get up to out in the chat? Anyone do anything fun and exciting? I went to Switzerland, as I was just talking about before. I've been in Switzerland since Thursday, and I just got back today. Literally got back about half an hour before the stream, which is why I was having a bit of a feast while we started to go live. So, what about you guys? What did you guys get up to this weekend? I saw some mountains, then I saw a big lake, and I saw another big lake and another mountain. And yeah, that was basically my weekend, mountains and lakes. It was pretty cool. I saw a bunch of cats as Nerf. Well, that's fun. I saw one cat this weekend that I can remember. So, you know, we got that connection going. You watching a stream right now? Says Ranso S&P. Well, boom, there you go. He recommends it. That sounds good. I'll have to check that out. I'm a bit busy streaming right now, but later on, I'm going to watch a stream as well. Sounds like a great idea. Alright, to jump into the game and to kind of discuss a little bit as to what is going on here. It's not really anything crazy, right? For the first time, we have Hatch Gas Pool against Gate Nexus Core, the go-to build orders for ZVP. So, For the first 2.5 minutes, everything looks as you would expect the majority of ZVPs to, even though the last 2 games didn't look like this at all. And from here, we're probably going to be seeing, I mean, the Stargate is the go-to choice. It's hard to tell, because we haven't really seen any games from Neeb, and so it's hard to know, is he going to drop the Stargate, or is he going to do something like a Twilight Council, try and build in towards a Resonant Enclaves, or something along those lines, as we do have this Adept coming in towards the upper left-hand side, doing that initial scouting, which will give him some info. It feels kind of late for a Stargate at the moment, actually. Maybe he's actually building another Adept as well. It kind of feels though maybe this is something like a Twilight Council, because why would you wait so long to build the Stargate? Let's see what he builds here. Maybe just a gateway to fill the wall? Yeah. What if he goes double gate into double Stargate? Like if he goes up to 3 gateways, then double Stargate? That's a very popular build lately. Oh, it's not super popular, but it's getting more popular. It's getting very popular. So 3 gates on the way up. That does sort of indicate there's going to be double Stargate here. So all eyes on Neeb to see what he does, as Scarlett will just drop down that lair. This lair is this lair's pretty quick, in fairness. Like, it's not like this sort of standard fast lair which comes in around 354 minutes. They can definitely work out to get a roach speed or so up nice and quickly. So we'll see what Scarlett does. I mean, the faster the lair, the more you've got to kind of go, is this potentially an all-in? Is there a Nidus coming with this? There's the double Stargate out of Need, comes down in the back of the natural expansion. So by throwing a couple of Stargates back in the back of the natural, just going to be seeing a couple more depths just setting up, and Neeb is going to be getting ready to push on forwards out into the center of the map. 6 gates. Sorry, 6 gates, 6 adepts. That'd be terrifying if there's 6 gateways. That'd be a lot more adepts than just the 6. But 6 adepts coming across the map to apply some pressure while the +1 air weapons comes up. And that also allows the 2 Stargates to come in. It's a very popular build on maps like Backwater and Neon Violet Square in particular, because on these maps you can really expect to go into a longer game where there's going to be a late game carrier transition, and by already having +1 flyer attacks and 2 Stargates built because of your early Phoenix play, it's a great way to make that transition just come along a little bit more smoothly later on. As we see Neeb, well, he's going to lose a few of these adepts here at the front, so a few of those going down, and he's going to lose everything, but he sees the roaches already popping. Now, is he able to identify that those are quite a few roaches, and that Scarlett might get aggressive with these, maybe? Although Scarlett making some drones now, maybe it was just defensive, but I mean, you look at the unit count, 10 roaches and 6 lings left over, it almost feels like overkill. And, I feel a lot of the time something that's very powerful against Adept openers, you see it a lot with Resonant Enclaves, is to kind of kill the Adepts and then to use your momentum where the Adepts have generally maybe done economic damage or they just don't try well against roaches at all. Use that momentum to then break your opponent with a swell of roach and ling. Scarlett right now didn't really build many more roaches. I think she added a couple on in production just a few moments ago. She cancelled whatever on earth that was meant to be, but she is still drones, so it looks as though she is just macroing this. It was just a safe way of opening, as we are going to be seeing these Phoenix coming out and doing what Phoenix do best, shutting down Overlords. And as the numbers rise up very quickly, they're going to be awesome at catching Queens off guard, catching Hydras as they pop out, picking off drones. And I am surprised Hydra 10 isn't on the way down. And that maybe does make me feel that while Scarlett maybe wasn't all in before, that maybe she's going to try and win the game with a big roach attack in the near future. Because you look at this and you can see the roaches and the lings stacking up, and if you can move across the map quickly enough with the roach speed, maybe you can break on through the front door and get something done here. I guess we'll see very soon, as we do have Phoenix coming in and going after an Overlord. A couple of drones going down here. I mean, these drones, these Phoenix are meant to kill drones, is what they're great at, but they also need to help defend, and if they use too much of their energy on workers and kill an economy, it just means there's so many more roaches to deal with on the other side of the map. Now, we do have one Immortal out here, a couple of sentries with good amounts of energy to buy some time with the force fields as well. So, with the units in Neeb gathering together, and we look to see how he's going to make this defense. There are the Phoenix in the background. This is what they really should be doing against these roaches. Really just kind of using their kind of power to lift up again and again nicely. Changing them from Scarlett, blocks the sentries from getting back inside for a while. Actually means that one extra sentry went down during that. Phoenix lifting up again. I mean, this is the issue now, though. There's so many Phoenix that when they get their energy back, there's just so many lifts available, even though Neeb used some of those lifts earlier. And now Scarlett, the issue from here is that she doesn't have the Hydrogen yet, and so these Phoenix will continue to do so much more damage. Neeb has held on, he's taking this back base, so he's up on 3 bases. Neeb is looking great, and Scarlett has just not done enough with what was a very committed attack. No upgrades behind this, no further tech beyond the roaches. This is not the sort of game that goes very well for Scarlett. Here we're going to see Queens just aren't going to be enough, and as the Queens get lifted up, wow, Scarlett's just going to type GG. It's one of those moments where it's like, what, Scarlett, GG, but you've got money in the bank, your Hydrogen's building, but she's going to lose all of her Queens, she's going to lose another mineral line, and by the time you